art in all of its forms is very important for developing a positive culture. Acting is not something that I've dabbled in personally to any great degree, but I do know that performing on stage takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of strength. And I think it's the form of acting that is not only the hardest, but it should be the most respected. At least it usually tends to be in New York, where I'm from the Northeast. And so I'm curious what your experience has been like. Is there a preference between performing on stage versus performing on camera?
Yes, I definitely prefer performing on stage. I really appreciate the fact that it's a synergetic experience between the audience and I. The audience impacts, affects, alters the performance. The words that you say don't change, but there is something that happens when you're in a room with people and you can't help but feel it. And it changes things. The electricity is really powerful. So I love live theater for that. On-camera work is a different animal altogether, and there's beauty and power and poignance in that, but it doesn't fulfill me in the same way that a live experience does.
Which is why you're so good at giving a TED Talk. No, it's true. I mean, look, not everybody is cut out to be a public speaker. They're just not. I mean, you can get over being scared of it and get to where you can do it. But that doesn't mean that you thrive at it.
Well, you know what? It's actually interesting you say that because, Betty, as you know, there's a lot of interesting personalities that end up going into acting. I think Bob De Niro is a great example of that from the standpoint of he can act especially in his heyday, could act any type of role that you could think of. But when you get him on camera as Bob De Niro, he basically is a total introvert and not somebody that you would think would want to get in front of a crowd of people and start speaking. But when the lights are on, for some reason, it just clicks and they just know exactly how to do it. Do you cross, a lot of different actors that basically have, more of an introverted personality in their personal life. But once they're in front of the stage, it's like, it's time to rock and roll. It's showtime. I can do this.
Yes, I'm gonna answer both things because Jen brought up something as well. Fun fact, I wasn't doing any acting when I did my TED Talk, and here's a really interesting thing that kind of surprises people. I did not memorize my TED Talk. Cherry Creek, which is amazing, their TEDx, they have a different philosophy. They genuinely want it to be a conversation. And when you have a conversation with people, you don't memorize what you're going to say. You allow the best ideas to hit you right then. So that was actually frightening because memorizing makes sense. I know how to do that. I know how to score it and deliver it. But to trust the process and allow brand new ideas to hit me for the very first time in front of other people who are watching and to not have a safety net is actually really challenging. And that's what I did with that TED Talk. And everyone who saw me practice it they're like, oh, it kept changing. Because it did. Every single day, new ideas hit me. So that's on the TED Talk end. So acting didn't necessarily help me there. On the acting front, I have tons of friends who are introverts. And absolutely, being a gifted performer is a skill. And it doesn't have anything to do with talking publicly. And so most of my acting friends would never want to moderate a conversation. They're always grateful if I lead the talk back. They can answer a question or two about their character. But even after that, they're like, I took too long, or I didn't get to the point, or I meandered. It's a real skill, I think, to be able to not just speak publicly, but to be able to kind of look ahead so that you know where you're going. I think that's the key in public speaking. You kind of have to know where you're going so you can get there the way you want. Otherwise, you're kind of meandering and you don't know how to get there.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.